Here's your wrestling news for April 20th, 2023, and we're kicking off with Goldberg, whose contract with WWE expired last December, ending his 6-year run. Since then, Goldberg has spoken openly and passionately about wanting one final match before he retires, but where exactly will that match take place? Yesterday, we reported on Goldberg claiming that he had a handshake agreement with Vince McMahon, who allegedly promised him a retirement match, but now that bout could happen outside of WWE, as PW Insider Elite reports. PWInsiderElite.com can confirm that over WrestleMania week in Los Angeles, Goldberg met with at least one international promoter with the idea of having a farewell or celebration show in Israel and perhaps other countries. For all the talk bouncing around about Goldberg versus MJF and AEW, we haven't heard that's been discussed, but Tony Khan has seemed open to the idea of Goldberg in AEW, but not ROH. Goldberg has spoken about doing a four-city farewell tour to close out his career, and has spoken about competing in Israel, which would be a huge deal for the Jewish legend. In an update, Ringside News reported that Paul Heyman pitched a farewell angle for Goldberg last year, and that Vince McMahon was a fan of the proposed idea. Despite this, the idea was never brought up again after McMahon landed in trouble due to the multiple sexual misconduct claims, with one source stating that other things took priority over Goldberg's final match. By the time the dust was settled and McMahon was gone, WWE had decided to let Goldberg's contract expire, resulting in his departure. If Goldberg's final match is for AEW, though, his career will end where it started, on TNT programming. And the big question would then be, who would he face? Earlier this month, Eric Bischoff dared AEW to book Goldberg versus CM Punk, saying it would bring a lot of attention, and fans have weighed in on that match. When Ryan Satin asked if fans are interested in seeing the match, a lot of responses said they'd want to, just for the spectacle if nothing else. Some pointed out that the match quality could be seriously lacking, and others stated that there'd be the risk of Punk taking another injury in his first match back. Goldberg may have been promised a retirement match by WWE, at least according to him, but if so, WWE is in no hurry to keep their end of the deal. When Ringside News asked about this retirement match, a member of the creative team said that there is no discussion about Goldberg at all. That source added that no one in WWE talks about Goldberg in a creative sense, so don't expect the Hall of Famer's final match to be at a WWE show. But what do you think should be Goldberg's final match, and where should it happen? Sound off in the comments. Over to Raw now, as this week's show saw Dakota Kai of Damage Control face off with Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair, but there was much more planned for the heel faction. It's been previously reported that a backstage segment featuring Damage Control was cut from this week's show, but it turns out that this wasn't the only segment removed from the show. According to PW Insider, several backstage segments were cut involving female talent this week, and this led to quite a few unhappy WWE superstars. We can't say for certain which particular superstars were unhappy, and contrary to the much maligned post-WrestleMania Raw, Vince McMahon wasn't backstage at this week's show. It's currently unclear whether McMahon made these changes or any other changes to Raw, but Mike Johnson adds that there has been a slightly bubbling paranoia in recent weeks. Given WWE's massive roster, not everyone can make it onto each episode of Raw, and this week's show proved to be a boiling point for some in the company. Over to AEW Dynamite, as Powerhouse Hobbs was able to bring an end to Wardlow's second short reign as TNT champion after the latter's car was broken into and the gold stolen. On this week's Dynamite, the two had a championship rematch, and now the title is back around the waist of Mr. Mayhem. Wardlow was able to end Hobbs' own short reign to become a 3-time champion, becoming the third man to reach this number, alongside Cody Rhodes and Sammy Guevara. Right after Wardlow won the match, Christian Cage and Luchasaurus came out to make their presence known, and it's clear that Cage and Luchasaurus have their own plans for the TNT Championship. Wardlow also did a segment previously in the night with Arn Anderson, and it appears that AEW might have found a new client for the Enforcer on screen. Wardlow had certainly had a string of bad luck, but that's all changed now, and we'll have to see what comes next for the new TNT Champion. Earlier this week, we reported on Tyler Bate as the first ever WWE United Kingdom champion has been impressing all the right names backstage. Bates' name has come up as a possible call-up to the main roster in the upcoming WWE draft, but he may not be the only fresh face making the move. Zero News reports that Tyler Bate, Pretty Deadly, Cameron Grimes, Braun Breaker, and Ilya Dragunov are all potential names that could be called up, but a final decision hasn't been made yet. On the women's side of things, Indy Hartwell was planned for a main roster debut, but that was before she captured the NXT Women's Championship. Nikita Lyons is also being discussed as a potential call-up, though she is currently out of action, but Zero News did confirm that a couple of women will definitely be coming up. Triple H has said that this year's draft will be the biggest ever, given that every superstar is eligible, and the game and his team have some big decisions to make about who will be on the main roster. At WrestleMania 38, Stone Cold Steve Austin competed for the first time in 19 years and put on an incredible performance against Kevin Owens. Given how well he did, it was hardly surprising that the WWE quickly began courting the Rattlesnake for a match at WrestleMania 39, which ultimately didn't happen. Names including Brock Lesnar, LA Knight, and even Roman Reigns were linked to Austin at one point or another, so why didn't a match take place in SoFi Stadium? Speaking to Sports Illustrated, Austin admitted that he did talk with WWE about a match at WrestleMania 39, but that the two sides couldn't meet when it came to presentation. Austin explained that he turned down the match with Owens half a dozen times before the right idea was presented, and went on to say that logistically, a match this year was impossible. During WrestleMania season, Austin was filming for his new show, Stone Cold Takes on America, which took up all the time he would have had to train for the match. Steve went on to say that after working on his show for 15 hours a day, a 30 to 40 minute workout would not have got him ready for WrestleMania, and that he simply couldn't commit while his show was in production. Stone Cold is very protective of his character and would not have wanted to give anything short of a stellar performance at WrestleMania. And do you think we'll see him wrestle one more time? Sound off in the comments. While Austin did not compete at WrestleMania 39 earlier this month, he did watch the event closely, and like all of us, saw Cody Rhodes fail to finish the story in the main event against Roman Reigns. While the finish has been a source of controversy with some fans, the match itself has been praised, and the Texas Rattlesnake had his own take on the main event. In the interview, Austin said he'd give it 5 stars, saying that Rhodes and Reigns got everything right, and described the build as perfect. Austin added that after the match, he texted a couple of people who were involved in the bout and had just one word to say: magnificent. Many expect Cody to one day become WWE Undisputed Universal Champion and dethrone Reigns, but there's no word on when that'll be. But whenever it is, Stone Cold will no doubt be looking forward to the rematch. Roman Reigns has been off WWE TV for the last couple of weeks. The Tribal Chief's last appearance was on the Raw episode after WrestleMania, where he was supposed to join forces with Solo Sikoa to take on Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar in a tag match. However, the match didn't happen due to the Beast turning on the American Nightmare. Given his absence, one question that has been reverberating in the minds of WWE fans is where Roman Reigns is. The Tribal Chief is currently on his scheduled break after WrestleMania. For those who don't know, the head of the table was reported to be taking a significant break after the Show of Shows. Given the busy schedule leading up to his match at WrestleMania 39, it wouldn't be wrong to say that the Tribal Chief deserves a layoff. However, Roman Reigns is expected to return to the company soon. The current undisputed WWE Universal Champion is set to make his WWE TV return on the April 28th edition of SmackDown for the WWE Draft. As you may know, the 2023 WWE Draft will occur on the April 28th episode of SmackDown and will continue on the May 1st episode of Raw. Fans can expect the head of the table to return to be a part of the game-changing WWE Draft. For close to 3 months, fans have not seen Alexa Bliss on TV, as her most recent match came all the way back at the Royal Rumble in January. After her match, it was teased that she'd be doing something with Uncle Howdy, another character who has vanished from TV, and fans of the goddess may have to get used to her not being around. A source within WWE told Ringside News that despite the hope of fans that she'll be back soon, there are no current plans involving the former women's champion. With Bray Wyatt still out of action, it appears WWE is in no hurry to bring back Bliss, who will continue to sit on the sidelines until WWE decides to use her again. It was in June of last year that fans last saw Robert Roode in the ring as he was being squashed by Omos during a WWE live event. In September, it was announced that Roode had undergone neck fusion surgery, and there's been an update on the condition of the former NXT champion. While reports in November said that Roode could be returning to action, Fightful Select report this week that Roode is unlikely to return to action anytime soon. Roode has been with the WWE for close to 7 years now and has held gold in NXT and the main roster, but it'll be a long while yet before the Canadian is back in the ring. For decades, Trish Stratus has captivated the hearts of wrestling fans with her beauty, and she has had some pretty interesting admirers. Before he was dominating as the tribal chief, a young Roman Reigns was such a big Trish fan that he had a cardboard cutout of her in his bedroom. On this week's Raw, Trish said that she is not your childhood fantasy, and when the WWE on BT Sport account said that Reigns would disagree, Stratus appreciated that the future WWE champion acknowledged her. Trish Stratus has refound her mean streak that made her such an effective heel in WWE for years, and the fans and Roman Reigns will be watching her closely from here on. At WrestleMania 39, Trish made her return to the ring after a 3-year absence from the ring and teamed with Becky Lynch and Lita to defeat Damage Control. Despite her years out of the game, Trish fought through the ring rust to give an impressive performance and also fought through a very painful injury. Speaking on Busted Open Radio, Stratus revealed that she walked into WrestleMania with a partially torn hamstring and said she was unsure whether she'd be able to go in the ring. Once she did get in the ring, Trish said it was like riding a bike, and with a match with Lynch in the works, fans can expect her back in the ring in due time. And we're ending with Solo Sikoa, as the Bloodline's enforcer is completely stone-faced on TV, but this week, the former North American champion did break character. During an episode of Up Up Down Down, Sikoa was able to play as himself in a modded Tekken 7, and given how amused everyone around him was, it was clear that Sikoa was about to laugh. Trying to keep up kayfabe, Sikoa covered his mouth with his hands and attempted to hide his face from the camera, but keeping character proved to be very difficult during this episode of Xavier Woods' gaming channel.